Welcome to Jackal's Wrestling Entertainment Pod. As always, here's your host, Caleb and
Jeremiah.
And this is a special episode because it's the first episode where we get to break down a special event. This is not a premium live event like Royal Rumble will be this upcoming weekend, but we got Saturday night's main event last night, so you get to hear that breakdown as well. But as always, we just start the week off with Monday Night Raw. On Monday Night Raw, we started off with main event Jey Uso kind of calling out Gunther ahead of this Saturday night's main event match, as we will talk about later. But what did you think about this main event Jey Uso promo?
I thought it was good as usual, and I am just very much on the Jey Uso hype train. I am waiting for WWE to pull that trigger. We saw a little glimpse of it got in their title ring, but I really feel Jay's right there. He could be a world champion or even another singles title, and he just has that charisma to him.
I think you summed that up pretty well. I think Gunther did a good job of even going back and forth with Jey. Like you mentioned, the charisma of Jey Uso. Gunther went back and forth where he doesn't need the charisma, but he takes these low, really low, cheap shots that it's really hard to really say anything good about Gunther in the promo because he's making it so easy to dislike him.
I know, you're exactly right. I mean, he's so stoic, but he's subtle. He gets his shots in, and we know he can go on the wing. What he lacks in that just blatant charisma that you see of Jey, he makes up for those chest chops.
He does. Next up, we had Rey Mysterio beating Kofi Kingston. I thought this was a good match, but there were a few blotch moves. What did you think of the match?
I think I'm with you. I agree. A good match. There was a couple of botches. I just think that Kofi has to get a little bit used to this new style. We've seen him as heel before, but it's been a while. He's been a face for so long, and he's trying to do the moves to get heat, not the athletic moves. Him and Wei, need some more timing issues and maybe get used to wrestling in the pants and shoes too for Kofi.
That's true. He has a completely different style. We're seeing from Kofi Kingston. Not so much Xavier Woods, but Kofi Kingston. This is completely new territory for him, as you just mentioned. Then we saw a Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens promo where Kevin Owens would pretty much say that if Sami helps him, if he scratches his back, he'll scratch Sami's and he'll help Sami win the Royal Rumble as long as Sami helps him beat Cody Rhodes in that big ladder match.
I mean, I enjoy the storyline. I don't think you can go wrong anytime you have Sami and KO involved in a storyline where they're teaming up or going against each other. It would be very interesting to see this scenario play out and see them try to help one another like Kevin Owens promised. I'm for it myself.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that'd be very, very interesting. Something forgot to mention early on when Raw started, we saw Nia Jax assault Rhea Ripley to stop the show. That was one of the first things you've seen. We kind of skimmed past that, but it led to eventually a Nia Jax, Bayley match?
Yes.
And then after the match, we would see Rhea Ripley come out and a brawl take place between Nia and Rhea Ripley, kind of, again, leading into the Saturday night's main event that we're going to speak on later. What did you feel about this section of Raw?
I felt like you said, leading this main event, a great go-home show for the event with the Jey and Gunther promo. You're establishing Nia as that dominant force that we know she is. She jumped Rhea. She would go on and fight Bayley later on, and then again we had come out, seek her revenge. And again, it sets up for that and the Rumble as well, because Nia also declared for the Royal Rumble.
That's true. Nia said even if she beat Rhea Ripley, that she would still enter the Rumble and get her title back from Tiffany Stratton. Very interesting strategy from Nia Jax. Next up, we saw Pete Dunne calling Butch against Penta. That was a big, exciting match. I thought both did really good. I thought it established Penta as more of a star and shows just he can put on a good match with anyone.
I agree with you. Again, another great performance from Penta, but to that same point, I think Pete Dunne is so overrated in that sense. He's just a great heel, just great overall performer. With Penta as well, you can put Pete Dunne in there. He just really helped elevate Penta. I think, to a level a little bit more than what we saw with Chad Gable myself.
Yes, that's very true. That's a good point. Next up, we saw a CM Punk, and I thought this was interesting, a crowd promo. He walked through the crowd and he delivered a promo, and the most notable thing from this was saying, if you put Hulk Hogan in, he'll throw his dusty butt over the rope and he'll kill Hulkamania once and for all. What did you feel of that shot? It was that him trying to get support because fans were booing Hogan, or what was that about? What do you think?
I think it was just CM Punk being CM Punk myself. I mean, it was a great line. I had read that they said that was all him. They didn't know he was going to do that, which is, it's very typical of CM Punk, but it was a great line. It got the response. It got the pop. And, yeah, it's just CM Punk's going to, any little controversy there is, CM Punk is going to bring attention to it. So, I mean, I can't blame him for that. I thought it was a pretty funny line myself.
Next up, we saw a tag team match. We saw Shayna and Zoe against Dakota and Io. What did you think of this match?
I thought very low-key show solo myself. I mean, very good match, back and forth. There's talent. I mean, we know Io and Dakota. We've spoke about them before on here, but I just want to shout out to Zoe and Shayna as well. Very underrated. Very talented performers. They don't complain. They do whatever they're asked to do, and you would like to see them eventually sometime pay off and maybe a tag title one or some kind of success for both of them. Because, like I said, I just feel very underrated in my opinion.
Yes, I agree with that. And we saw a main event, really good back and forth match between Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. Also, we saw after the match, little miscommunication and a haluva kick to Seth freaking Rollins from Sami Zayn. Is this a precursor to a possible Sami Zayn heel turn? Does he take Kevin Owens off, or does he help him in the ladder match?
I don't know, but I'm with you, Val. Great match back and forth between Seth and Drew. Both men always deliver. And yeah, just a misstep by Sami, but this has not been the forced misstep by Sami. We've seen it here and there. I mean, coincidence, or is he have a bad aim on that thing? We don't know, but I am very interested to see how this unfolds because I've just been enjoying what Kevin Owens has been doing lately himself. So, that's my thought on it. I just think that it's just going to be very interesting to see where things go, especially after this last week and heading into the Royal Rumble.
Next up, we go to the very next night where we see NXT. We kick off with a really good underrated North American Championship match. I don't feel it wasn't talked about much, but we had Tony D'Angelo against Ridge Holland.
I agree with you most definitely. I mean, Tony D'Angelo, you look back a few years ago, he's really, came into his own character walk wrestling. But I want to give a shout out to Ridge Holland. This last 6 to 8 months in NXT or year, I think he really has stepped up his wrestling myself. Overall, his character, presentation, his promos. But I agree with you, very solid match. And Tony D'Angelo showing why he's the Don of NXT, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's had a really good North American Championship ring. I agree with that. We also saw a brawl breakout that would lead to a tag team match later on in the night. And then we would see Wesley defeat Lennox.
Lennox?
Yeah, Lennox. Pretty good match. I think Lennox still needs some work. You can tell where he's not quite there. Some of his moves look a little too rehearsed, in my opinion. Don't think he's quite there, but Wesley just a great pro and a really good wrestler. What did you think of this match?
Exactly, I agree with you too. He still has some work done, but it's great for him to get the time to get in there with a guy like Wesley. Wesley, again, he has his character of a man can go on the wing, and I'm excited to just see where he goes. I have a feeling main roster soon, possibly after WrestleMania for Wesley, but I'm looking forward to see him and Trick next week.
Yes, we saw a little bit before the match, we saw Trick Williams slap the heck out of Wesley, and that would lead to, as you just mentioned, the announcement of Trick versus Wesley. I think that's going to be a possible match of the week candidate for this upcoming week, just between two great performers.
Agreed.
Next up, we saw the Heritage Cup match. We saw the rematch of Lexis King versus Charlie Dempsey. What was your opinion on this match?
Oh, very good match. I've enjoyed this storyline, but now I'm very interested though because now Lexus seems to be going against everything he's fought for the last few months. If he didn't want to be his dad, and we've seen some underhanded moves to win this match. So I am very interested to see his explanation and see how this pans out next week.
You're right. He used some underhanded tactics, most definitely. He used that low blow that helped him seal the victory against Dempsey. And is this it for Dempsey? Does he get another shot eventually at the Heritage Cup? Does he move on to something different? I think he could be a top star in NXT by the end of this year, I'm going to say.
I agree. I know. I think maybe one more match because of a controversial finish, but if not, still, I agree with you. I think we do see Dempsey move on to something else and see who else jumps up and challenges Lexus for this Heritage Cup.
Next up, we saw Carmen Petrovic against Jada Parker. I thought this may have been one of the better matches on NXT. I thought both women did a great job. I think Jada Parker's really making a name for herself, and I think should be NXT champion by the end of this year.
I agree with you 100%. She is just a rising star. We've seen now that she has her own music, separates herself from the faction a little bit, and just kind of, maybe going out on her own. And yeah, we've just seen her improve the rivalry with Lola Vice. And now I can't wait to see what her and Kalani Jordan do. And shout out to Carmen. She's really improved too, and really, shown like the best match I've seen from Carmen myself.
Yes, I agree with that. 100% agree with that. And as I spoke on the brawl that broke out after the North American Championship match led to a Nico Vance and Brooks Jensen against Stax and Luca Corsafino tag team match. This was underweighted, but I think pretty good match on NXT. First time you really, in a while, get to see these 4 stars in action.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've seen just like tag team battle warrior stuff, and more so, like you said, one in interference in matches, or Sean Spears accompanying them, or them accompanying him. I mean, and just to really see what all these guys can go, and just solid match. And to that point, Crucifino and Stax were like, hey, where was Tony? Sean was out there for his boys, but Tony was out there for them. So interesting to see where that's going to go.
Is there friction brewing in the D'Angelo family?
I think so.
Then up next, we saw a big main event, NXT Championship match, Obafemi, Eddie Thorpe. What did you think about this match? I thought it was hard-hitting.
I agree with you. Hard-hitting match, good match. Eddie Thorpe, he's really progressing. The storyline, I think, fit him well. He's progressing up on that scale, and shout out to him. But I just want to say, Obafemi's a beast. I mean, he's fun to watch. I mean, if you maybe like a modern day, like Goldberg, almost, of just like this man just going through, and you just think about who really can right now stand toe to toe and just whoop this man. That's just fun to see. And Trick Williams does want that title back, and I can't wait to see a one-on-one rematch between these two. But for now, I don't see anyone stopping Oba in the immediate future myself.
I know, Dito, and I can't wait. He's going to have a long NXT championship reign. We know this. But I can't wait to see this man mix it up with main roster guys.
Agreed.
Can you imagine Obafemi against Roman Reigns?
That would be great. It seriously would. I mean, that just books itself on the marquee right there. Or, another younger man from NXT, Obafemi against Braun Breaker, would be a hell of a match, I believe.
Before we jump into SmackDown results, I want to throw this out here. I know you talked about this. You didn't get quite mentioned on last episode, and you talked about wanting to talk about it. You had a question answered on Talking Shop Good Butters Pod, didn't you?
Yes, I did. That was, thank you for bringing that up, sir. No, that was very awesome. You kept telling me I should email a question, and I was trying to think of a good one. And the main part of this question that was even discussed on the dirt sheets, so to speak, was me asking Gallows if he thinks ever have that match with CM Punk to back from the Straight Edge Society days, and Carl Anderson joked and said he don't think it will ever happen, and Luke said wait till it's 20 years and have it. So.
So maybe down the road, folks, maybe down the road we get to see that blow-off match.
I hope so. I like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that's waited for this, especially with Punk and WWE, and can't wait to see when Gallows and Anderson do return to television. A shout out to both of them and AJ Styles.
Yes, I agree. And rumor has it, we don't talk about rumors much, but rumor has it over the summer there could be a big CM Punk AJ Styles rivalry, and if so, count me in for that. I'm down for that.
Most definitely, take my money, because I would want to see every single match between those two. The promos would be great. I'd hope to see AJ Styles as the heel, and I'd love to see Gallows and Anderson one interference and maybe have that match.
Maybe. Now we go SmackDown. SmackDown started off with what I thought was a great interview. Joe Tessitore interviewing Cody Rhodes. That interview was really cool, and Cody pretty much said, if there's an easy way, Kevin Owens is going to take it. He's going to run from his problems, and he's going to take the easy way out. We'll talk about later. That did sit well with Kevin Owens on Saturday night's main event, but what did you think of this Cody Rhodes interview to kick SmackDown off?
I thought it was a great way to kick off SmackDown. Again, like you said, Cody Rhodes just is doing amazing right now. He's shown why he is the WWE champion, why he is the face of the company. You have him on the show, whether it's in a physical capacity or even for an interview. It just always, gets your interest. It always makes you want to watch for TV, see what he's going to say. And yeah, I mean, Kevin Owens right now is carrying around a championship that he claims is his, that is not actually counted as a WWE championship. It was used for nostalgia for one night. Still, Cody's in a match he lost, but hey, that's Kevin Owens, and it's working for him. It's got them another shot at the title, so why not?
It does. You're right about that. Next up, we had the Motor City Machine Guns with Pretty Deadly. Underratedly, one of the best matches on SmackDown.
Agreed. I mean, seriously, just like Pretty Deadly is so underrated themselves, another one, much like Shayna and Zoe. They do whatever they're asked to do. You don't hear anything. You don't read of them complaining, them wanting their releases, even if you don't see them. You shout out to all those people that walk and just take whatever time opportunities they have and run with them. But they can go. I mean, we know they're entertaining, very good on the mic, but in the ring, they can go too. And the Machine Guns have been killing it since coming to WWE. So yeah, very underrated match, I think, of the week myself.
Yes, I agree. Next up, we had Kevin Owens mouthing off to Matthew McConaughey. How cool was that? And then we saw Jimmy Uso come out and kind of make the save for Matthew McConaughey, so to speak, and it led to a main event that we'll talk about later on SmackDown.
Awesome. Just quick, segue. I'm sorry, guys, but I have to point out, I appreciated the, hey, Ohio State beat Texas, being an Ohio State fan. Very happy this past week with that. But yes, great. Going back and forth. McConaughey, hey, I'm signing me up for it. But yeah, Jimmy Uso I really love what he's doing now. He's trying to carve his own line. You see main event Jey Uso. We know what Roman's done, but now Jimmy's just trying to find his niche, and I've really enjoyed it and the matches we've seen so far.
Yes, I agreed 100% on that part. Then we had B-Fab and Michin take on Piper Niven and Chelsea Green. What did you think of this match?
I thought, again, really good. I love how, like we were talking about last week, how B-Fab, she's gone from that mouthpiece to seeing what she can do in the ring, and she is walking and trying to, establish more of an in-ring presence. Michin and Chelsea always deliver. Piper Niven, I believe, just really came into her own this last year too, serving as that heavy, that bodyguard for Chelsea. And we saw Michin pin Chelsea Green. So I sign me up for another match for the U.S. title between these two, because they can keep going as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, 100%. I think that'd be a great idea. I'd love to see that and see many more of their matches in the future. Next, we saw Tiffany Stratton promo kind of interview that led to being interrupted by Nia, Candice, by Rhea, by Naomi, Bianca. What did you think of this? Did you think there were too many people involved, or every time Stratton talks, it seems like they throw 3 or 4 more people out? Do you think it's WWE's not confident in her ability to cut her own promo? What do you think is?
We could see some of that. We could see some of her still. She's just now coming into her own. So maybe they just figure get her more attention by more of a known, established women on the roster coming out in there. But it could be just trying to get her used to it, get her in these situations. But also is Royal Rumble time. You're going to see a bunch of people come out, want to go to WrestleMania, want to make their claim for a championship or just, hey, I declare for the Royal Rumble, which is always awesome. But no, I believe myself, Stratton's been holding her own. And I'm very interested to see where it's going to go because she's kind of playing face a little bit when Nia came out. Kind of changed up her direction a little bit. So
that's
very interesting. See where that goes.
We saw that lead to a 6-woman tag match. We saw with Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Naomi against Candice LeRae, Liv Morgan, and Nia Jax. What did you think of this one?
I thought that was a very solid match myself. Nice surprise. Liv is not the one that this last year just really upped her game. She don't have a title now, but still just a great promo. Her wrestling has really gone to a whole new level, I think, this last year. Candice, someone else that for so long you didn't see this. I'm happy finally to see her just throwing in everything. She's so not the underrated one. And just very interested to see how things going because, for all we know, Bianca could win the Royal Rumble. She's entered it. And what if Bianca would take on Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania? That would be a dream match.
Sign me up for that match. I'm waiting for that. Next up, we saw Apollo versus Johnny Gargano. What was your opinion on this match?
A very solid match, and again, happy for Apollo. I mean, not the man that's taken everything they've given him and ran with it, and happy to see him pick up a win. Johnny and Ciampa are sure going to have something to say about it, and very interested to see. And also, can't wait for that tag title match.
That's gonna be a classic. 2 out of 3 falls is what we're talking about at the Royal Rumble. Motor City Machine Guns against DIY. That's gonna be a classic. I can't wait for that one as well. Next up, we saw LA Knight against Tama Tonga. Jacob Fatu was out there. After LA Knight would secure the victory, Jacob Fatu would attack him and jump him until Braun Strowman would make the save, leading to what we will talk about, a monster match between Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu the next night on Saturday night's main event. What did you think of this match?
Again, another great job of just, foreshadowing, go home, selling Saturday night's main event. A solid match. LA Knight picked up victory. Tama Tonga can go too. Shout out to him. You have a werewolf against the monster. I don't know how you do not want to see that match.
Very true, very true. Then we had backstage segments throughout the night of Carmelo Hayes talking about he's SmackDown's franchise guy, he's him. And Nick Aldis said, well, I just acquired someone in this transfer. He said a new SmackDown superstar. And he's like, I can put you against him because he was supposed to take on Jimmy Uso. But as we talked about earlier, Jimmy Uso was in the main event against Kevin Owens. So Carmelo said, well, you aren't tricking me this time, Nick Aldis. He said, I want to see who this is. And as soon as Damian Priest walked in, Nick Aldis told him Carmelo Hayes wanted a match with him. And we saw that match. And it was a really, really, really good match. What did you think of that one?
Yeah, I mean, Carmelo, just another one, so good. Great promo, can go in the ring. Priest, very excited to see what opportunities await him on SmackDown. Haven't been a Raw guy his main roster career. And awesome match. I think Carmelo's just showing, hey, you put me against Jimmy Uso, you put me against Priest, you put me against the Monster Strowman, Andrade earlier in the year. Every time you put Melo in the ring, he delivers against whoever his opponent is. Shout out to Carmelo. And again, just his classic heel attitude. I just love seeing it.
And after Damian Priest picks up the win, we would see a tease. We would see Cody Rhodes welcome him and him say, thanks, champ. I'll see you soon. As he would look at Cody's belt. Is Damian Priest already marked that maybe after Kevin Owens, if Cody survives, that he's coming straight for Cody Rhodes for that championship?
I believe so, because I see Priest entering the Rumble myself. I don't know if he's declared yet or not, but Priest very well could win that. There's also Elimination Chamber. There are so many opportunities for a shot at that belt before WrestleMania that Cody knows right now if he does retain, his head's on the swivel, especially WrestleMania season. And we all know what Priest is capable of.
That's very true. Very, very true. And then next up, we saw a main event. Kevin Owens versus Jimmy Uso. Tell me about this one. It ended with a huge brawl between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens after the match. Really setting up for our Royal Rumble and our Saturday night's main event contract signing.
Yeah, I mean, awesome. Just, well, first off, again, you just have to give it to KO. Steps up with the mind games. The T-shirt game was, I always look, see what T-shirt he's on each week, but he goes in the main event against Jimmy Uso wearing his wife's T-shirt, which was a great step for Kevin Owens. Again, Jimmy Uso's really trying to carve his singles niche, and awesome match, great back and forth. Kevin Owens would walk away with victory, and again, just really driving home Saturday night's main event and Royal Rumble, like you pointed out, because that brawl to set up for the contract sign-in the next night, and again, I cannot wait for that ladder match.
Yes, that ladder match is going to be hard-hitting between two guys that just can't stand each other. I think that has a chance to be one of the best Royal Rumble title matches we've ever seen.
Agreed.
Next up, we had Saturday night's main event. Big promoted show. We ended up starting you off with Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax for the women's championship. And I thought that match was really hard hitting, really good way to kick off the show. Really got you into the show with that match starting off. I just thought it did a great job of selling the show.
Agreed. It sets a great pace. Nia jumped Rhea during the introductions. Again, just going back to her aggressive character that we know from her, any advantage she can get, she will take. And yeah, it did. It really set the pace. Great way to kick off the show. Congratulations, Rhea. So she just won the title a couple weeks ago already, a big marquee defense. And whoever does win the Royal Rumble, you really have to, think, do I really want to take on Rhea? And just put it out there.
Or do you go more towards Tiffany Stratton?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yes. I'm just, the world, more travel.
That's true, that's true. Next up, we saw the Intercontinental Championship match, Braun Breaker and Sheamus. We saw Braun Breaker retain after a hard-hitting match. Question for you coming out of this is, does Sheamus ever get over that hump? It feels like he just keeps getting to the hump over and over again, but he just can't get over it. He can't break through the wall, so to speak. Does he ever get past that? Does he ever hold the Intercontinental Championship in his hands?
I hope so, because I'll be honest with you, as a fan, I'm really starting to get as upset as Sheamus is about it. I want to see the Celtic Warrior be a Grand Slam champion, have that title. That man's done everything else you can do, all banger after banger, like he says. And great match. I agree with Jesse Ventura. The NFL does it. Why can't WWE do it? Referee said he won and then takes it back. But bad ring awareness on the part of Sheamus. But I really do. I'm rooting for it. I want to see Sheamus finally get that Continental Championship myself.
Next up, we had the contract signing for the WWE Undisputed Championship ladder match between Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, and Shawn Michaels was the enforcer of this contract signing. It was put together really well. I thought you saw from start, you saw the Shawn Michaels part of it where Kevin Owens was kind of getting under his skin as it went on and getting cheap shots and comments, and it led to a switch in music. How cool was that?
Oh, it was awesome. Shawn Michaels, I believe in his 50s, probably, maybe 60s, I'm not sure, but can still hit that switch in music. Cody saved him from suffering the same fate as Randy Orton and himself.
That's true.
Kevin Owens don't care. I think he'd power drive Matthew McConaughey if given a chance.
I do too.
But yeah, just great. And again, saying that you want to see the ladder match. I know I do. I mean, I would even be upset if this main evented the Royal Rumble. I just cannot wait for that match. It's been building now for months. Not just since Saturday night's main event, but for months. Even you go back to when Kevin Owens didn't want the title match and then didn't take advantage because they were friends, like he pointed out to now. Kevin Owens feels betrayed by Cody Rhodes and will do whatever he feels is necessary to get that championship.
Yes, that's very true. And Kevin Owens is saying when Cody Rhodes said he ran, Kevin Owens pointed out that Cody Rhodes ran to a different company. He's still getting those cheap shots and trying to get under Cody Rhodes' skin leading up to this title match. I love it.
Agreed. And yeah, Cody was not too happy about that one himself, but I don't think Kevin Owens cares.
No. Next up, we had Braun Strowman, Jacob Fatu. The only thing I don't really necessarily like about this match was Braun Strowman won by disqualification. I would have preferred to see a winner in it, not a disqualification win, but a pinfall or submission victory. But after the match, we saw Jacob Fatu just dismantle Braun Strowman. He was bleeding from the mouth. His blood was everywhere. What type of force do you think Jacob Fatu is going to be? And does anyone want to mess with this man?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Braun Strowman, like they say, is one big SOB. And yeah, I'm with you. I'm always more for a decisive finish myself. Even if you'd have rendered a KO and gave Fatu the win via those means. But yeah, exactly. Seriously, who's going to stop him? And that's nothing. Does Jacob Fatu go in Royal Rumble? If so, how hard is it going to be for this man over the top rope?
Does he go in it with a vendetta at Roman Reigns? Does he go in it as his biggest goal is to just eliminate maybe Roman Reigns, maybe not even win? Maybe his biggest goal is to make sure Roman Reigns don't win if he goes in it. It'll be interesting to see.
That could be. There's bad blood there, we know.
Next up, we had a World Championship match for main event with main event Jey Uso against Gunther. We saw Gunther walk out, retaining the title cleanly. What did you feel about this match?
It was a fun match, a good match, right back and forth. Again, much like with Sheamus earlier, I'd love to see Jey Uso. We keep seeing the close, but not quite there. Reminds me of Jeff Hardy way back in the day. But I think whenever they finally do pull the trigger and put the belt on Jey, it's going to be huge. But yeah, no, a great match. Shout out to Gunther. But I just want to touch on something we were talking about. And great fun show. But we just wonder, are they going to have a huge moment of significance that shows us, hey, Saturday night's main event is not missed? Because not cutting up the card, not cutting up the program, but so far you have not had a huge title change or something to ramify those kind of consequences.
That's very true, and to me, and again, not to insult it, but it seems predictable. But when you see the show, you can kind of say like, okay, well, this guy's going to win, and this guy wins. You don't have that what you were talking about. You don't have that surprise element that like what if Jey Uso would have won the World Championship last night?
Yeah,
then
exactly.
You could say, I can't miss Saturday night's main event because
who knows what could happen.
Yes,
exactly.
anything could happen.
Like a pay-per-view. Or that's right. And again, not cutting up anything. A great show, very enjoyable. But I just believe that Jey or Sheamus, you should have pulled the trigger on one of those wins and really said, hey, you know what? Anything can happen here. It's not just a placeholder show. It's
and
not
a transition show, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, not cutting up anything, love the show, but just need a little bit, shake things up, a little bit of unpredictability to it.
Going to do something new here in a minute, but we're going to get to our match of the week and our historic match to check out that you have for us. On our match of the week, so many contenders. We had that Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre match I thought was really good. We had... going to say Jada Parker, Carmen Petrovich, and I'm going to say Oba and Eddie because I thought that was really hard-hitting, really good match. I'm also going to say that Machine Gun's Pretty Deadly match as a possibility. I'm going to go with Nia Jax Rhea from Saturday night's main event. And I'm also going to go with Damian Priest and Carmelo Hayes as possible matches of the week. For me, I think I'm going to have to go with Priest and Carmelo Hayes. I thought that overperformed. For a match that wasn't advertised, you thought maybe Jimmy and Carmelo. I thought they just stole the show. That was really back and forth. I wasn't sure if they were going to do like Damian Priest dominating like Braun Strowman did against Carmelo Hayes, but they didn't. They were a different way, like a 10-15 minute match, and I thought it was really, really good.
I agree with that. Great match. Again, great show. And it just really opens up. Again, like we said, you put Mel on there if anyone still can do. And really just say, like, hey, Priest is on SmackDown, a dominant way to debut. And I agree with that. Awesome match.
Boys, now what do you have for our historic match? What match should people watch and check out? What you got for us?
Well, it's Royal Rumble season, so I mean, again, a lot of people do it. I know I've done it myself. You can go back and you can watch some old Rumbles. It's always fun to do. But I want you to go back 20 years, and I want to go back to Royal Rumble 2005, and not the Rumble match itself, but I want to go back to a match that was kind of, in a sense, like you see a lot of it now with a Hill champion with JBL defending against Kurt Angle, who was a Hill at the time, and the Big Show, who was your face. But what you see now in so many matches is you see these factions, and you see a Hill, and you see people, traffic one in it. And you had the Cabinet come out, you had Angle's guys come out. The Big Show was just a giant monster himself. But again, a not talked about match towards a pivotal point in WWE at this point, a transition period that happened a few months later with the likes of John Cena and Batista in the Rumble that same night. But yeah, just a fun match. One that really, I look back when I think of JBL's WWE title reign myself.
That was very, very good. Like you said, fun match and a lot going on, but I thought it was a really good and just straight down to it. JBL won with that, like, he looked like he was out of it. Court came one in after him. Him with that clothesline. He fell on the pan. Like you said, really good match. Now we're going to do something a little different to end this show. And if things change, if there's maybe a match added, we'll try to get that small video out that gives that prediction too. But we're going to give our Royal Rumble predictions. Each one of us, we're going to have our predictions. We're going to see if any of us come out with white picks here. So right now we only have 4 matches confirmed for the card. We're going to start off with the WWE Tag Team Championship 2 out of 3 falls match. Who do you got winning? Who's taking home the Tag Team Championship? Is it DIY or is it the Motor City Machine Guns?
Tough, very tough. But I am going to go for championship. I'm going to say that Hell or High Water DIY pulls out and keeps those tag titles.
This is where we get interesting because I'm going to go for Motor City Machine Guns on this one.
Very interesting take.
Now we have our, we're going to say Royal Rumbles for last. Now we have our WWE, as we talked about a lot, Undisputed Championship ladder match. Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens. Who's winning this one?
Wow, your boy put me on spot this one. I mean, Bill Apter, which, this is just it's not a rumor. It's his prediction. He thinks that maybe Sammy gets involved. Maybe Sammy takes Kevin Owens up on his offer and helps him win. And right now, I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to say somehow I think Kevin Owens is going to become the WWE champion next Saturday night.
Well, we're going to disagree again. I have the champ. I have Cody Rhodes doing what he always does and finishing the story against Kevin Owens. Now let's get really interesting. Let's go for Women's Royal Rumble match. Who do you have in this one?
Oh, this is tough because, again, we're just going here by people we've known that's declared so far. We don't know any surprises. We don't know anything. I'm going to go kind of with an obvious choice, but I predict Charlotte Flair to return after over a year absence and win the Royal Rumble.
I'm actually going to agree on this one. I think Charlotte's going to win. I think somehow it's going to end up setting up where we're going to get to see 2 amazing athletes, and we're going to see Charlotte, Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania for the Women's Championship.
Dream match.
So yeah, so I agree with you. I think Charlotte's going to win too. Now, for Men's Royal Rumble, this is superstar studded. We only have 10 confirmed right now, but there's still 20 more to be determined. But right now, who you got? It's so star-studded, but I am gonna go the road less traveled here. We have all these huge stars, and I'm gonna go for someone that hasn't got that world title match just yet. And it's a wild prediction, but I'm gonna say LA Knight wins Royal Rumble. Bold Royal Rumble prediction. Right now, for me, I'm going with John Cena. He's on this retirement tour. I think what better story to make than winning the Royal Rumble and breaking Ric Flair's record at WrestleMania. I'm saying John Cena's on the path to number 17 with winning the Royal Rumble. It starts this Saturday, in my opinion.
It would be awesome. And I have one more thing to add. This is for Rumble. It's really the only time we can do this, but I want us to each pick maybe a surprise entrant in the women's and men's Royal Rumble match. Just now, again, we have no idea. We're just guessing here. Who do you think could surprise us in the women's Royal Rumble match?
I'm going to give, I don't want to say too much, but I'm going to give two possibilities here. Just two, because of things I'm hearing. Trish Stratus has a sign-in, a autograph sign-in in Indianapolis I believe the day before for Royal Rumble. I'm going to say thank you, Trish, for gracing us in the Women's Royal Rumble. And I'm also going to say we keep hearing Becky signed back with WWE. I think Becky Lynch is going to be in the Royal Rumble. What do you have?
I agree. I agree with both of those. Trish never said she was done. We haven't seen her since that cage match in a wrestling match, but she never said she was done. I could see that. Becky, I could see that too. I'm going to go Jordan Grace, like last year, only this time I think should be a part of the roster.
I like that.
I'm going to go, like you, I'm going to name two too, because there's one more she's been out for a while. I don't know what her injury timetable is, but we might see Asuka return in the Royal Rumble.
Ooh, that'd be very interesting. Very interesting. Now, you're gonna ask me about the men's,
yes.
Men's Royal Rumble. And this is partial hoping and thinking it could be, but we saw the WWE TNA Impact sign in. I hope to see the TNA World Champion Joe Hendry at the Royal Rumble. I think that would be amazing moment. What do you have for the men's?
That would be awesome. I agree. And this is something that a lot of fans have predicted. No sources, but just something that I'd love to see myself. One of my all-time favorites with again that TNA partnership. I'd love to see Jeff Hardy make an appearance in this Royal Rumble, especially stand across from CM Punk. I just think that would be great. But again, I'm just really hoping as a fan there, and I think the Viper maybe might make his presence felt this weekend.
I like that pick. I like that possibility. Jeff Hardy did recently say he wants to end CM Punk's career, so does this possibly set up for something?
And in his WrestleMania dreams.
That's true, and that may feel like a career ender at the time for CM Punk because he wants that WrestleMania main event so bad. But as always, thank you for joining us. This is Caleb and
Jeremiah.
And come back next week.